Greetings petrolheads, my name is the Tom, you're on my gaming channel, and it's time for another episode of Automation, the car company tycoon game. And today, since I'm gonna have one replica coming up tomorrow and one on Friday, I'm gonna build another custom car, and some people may take issue with that because I just built so many custom cars recently, but in the workshop there has been a new body added, and it's, you know, new Camaro, new Mustang-ish. So you can probably imagine what kind of cars you can build with this. Maybe even a Challenger. The only downside to this is, no, not downside to this body, but the only thing that I wish were a little bit different is that you could morph this lower part of the rear end. If that would be nice if you could do that, but you know, it's not mandatory, it's not necessary. So let us actually move this thing a little bit like that. Yeah, okay. Now I'm gonna make this a sort of muscle car, which means probably I'm gonna give it an aluminum chassis because it's gonna have a really big engine. So we need to cut the weight down a little bit somehow. Double wishbones front and rear seems pretty decent, and aluminum panels is also fine. Yeah, the wheel arches are wide enough. I don't need to flare them. So let us get to the headlight section, where we're gonna start again with some of those. As we pretty much always do. You know what? I'm gonna leave these here just for orientation, and I'm gonna place the grill on here. This is a reasonably sized grill, I think. So the positioning of the vents is totally fine as well. And what I want to do here is I want to get these right here. Those over here. And then I think if I include this again and then do this, can I not mirror it? No, okay. Whatever. So this needs to be a little bit longer. Alrighty. No, both of these need to be a little bit shorter because this headlight size is gonna get a little bit ridiculous as is. this just a little bit longer, and then okay, then we're gonna add some of these to close this off. We're gonna do the same thing for the other side. And no, wait, we're gonna add one more of these. It goes like this. Like this. Like that. And come on, please don't tell me I need to move this whole arrangement around. It's fine. You know what? Good. Now we can just put this on that side. And clone one of these, make it a little bit wider and longer so it can cover the headlight that we're about to place in a little bit better. Clone this. Yeah, the clone tool is really growing on me now because of the way how I design cars. It is very helpful. Alrighty. Here comes the moment of truth, to some extent. This section right here is giving me a little bit of a headache here. This just needs to be rotated a little bit. There goes that, and we fixed everything, it seems. Let's cover this area in here as well. No. Let's leave it as is. This looks pretty silly actually. Or if we replace these with chrome. Doesn't really make it look better. Plastic? Maybe? Wait. Yeah, I can see that. What if we make everything plastic? And we have to be even more precise though, because if we're not, then it's gonna show that we weren't. You know what, let's just get all of these back like that, please. And get away with this. So in my mind, the concept of this looked just a little bit better than it does here, but still not awful or anything like that. Let's add a bonnet hump to, you know, let everybody know that we got power underneath that bonnet. And gonna add a lip. And the number plate as well. Of course, we still haven't added the lamps in here yet. And there is that. Should we go back and make those body panel colored again? I can't decide, man. Also, all of this might look much better or much different, at least very different at least, in a different color. Like if we just colored the car like black, white, blue, whatever. Yeah, so we're gonna add some of these. Make them a little bit taller. And then a couple of these, but shorter, on the top. That's a muscle car, isn't it? Muscle car without visible indicators. Of course, they're gonna be in this arrangement somewhere on the real car, but yeah, we didn't really put any of them. We didn't put any indicators in this arrangement, but it will have them in real life, obviously. So I quite like the shape of the rear end on this car, and I'm gonna emphasize it by putting one of... Wait a minute, where is this? Where is this thing? There it is. This fixture is also going to be very useful for creating the new generation Mustang replica. Actually, this grill seems to be a little bit... It doesn't see... Either that's the new body, or it's just the grill not being fully optimized yet. But it's still fine. You know what? Let us actually go ahead and... Where are they? There they are. Create another shape back here before we add any other fixtures. So it would go like this. Oh, please. Alright, whatever. What? Is this not... Wherever I put... Okay, if I put this one here, and then when it's gonna punch a hole? Why? Need to place it further down, apparently. Let's not get too carried away yet. Let us get one of these in. Obviously this one needs to be longer than the other one. And then that goes like here. Everything on the, about this is too large, so let's reduce, not by that much though. Reduce this size. Need to put it all further here though. Wait a minute. Okay, cool it. This goes here. That goes up there. This goes here. Goes up there actually, and then it needs to be even longer. Not okay. This needs to be shorter. Not by much. By a little bit. And then let's get this over here. And then I'm gonna clone this and like so. Which means this needs to be a little bit longer. Or just repositioned. Those are gonna be our tail lights mainly. Maybe we also want something in the middle here. Okay. These need to be a little bit further here so that they... Yeah, okay, so that they overlap properly. We're gonna add a grill. No. Which one is it? Come on. That one. Yeah. There it is. That is the one we want right here. And it seems to be working a little bit better than the other one we had. Oh, but not around the edges. That's fine. That one? Okay, yeah, that one's the one we're gonna roll with. But since I'm an idiot and I forgot to put the taillights down, which is, you know, one of the major concerns here, one could say. Yeah, I forgot to put the taillights down. There's not much more to it. So why is this overlapping the things, the plastic stripes, only in some areas? I don't know. Let's put a new one down. That is weird. That is very weird. It's like the game saying, oh, you put too many fixtures down, now you can't, now they're gonna overlap in ways that they're not supposed to overlap, so kind of a little bit of a fuck you towards me. But why? I want to understand why. Tell you what. Let's get one of the white ones in here where we know it should work. Good. That's at least the beginning. And now, what if we put down... Oh, this is gonna overlap the white one entirely, so that sucks. Really does. This doesn't seem to overlap the plastic stripes though. Okay, now let's just cover it all. Okay. This goes down here. You don't need that many fixtures here to cover everything. That's a good thing. So let's just make this a little bit bigger. And that should take care of pretty much anything on this side. And then we're gonna just go ahead and stretch this a little bit larger, and there we have our tail lights. So, with those being done, I'm gonna put on the badge. The grill still seems a little bit messy, a little bit unrefined. But you know what if we? I know for sure that. Where is it? Oh, we can also try this on for size. About that one. It still gets kind of messy, but better than the other one. Is it? Not on this area. We can get away with it like this. So then let's move a little bit more quickly. There it is. Put down the grill as a sort of diffuser or rear bumper or whatever you want to call it right here. Then we're gonna put down a lip. A number plate right here. Quad exhaust, because it's a muscle car. And maybe some braking lights. Very simplistic ones though. Here? Yeah, that looks totally fine. The grill does not though. There we have our tail lights, and it's time to color this thing. Dark blue. Yeah, dark blue. Look at that. Okay. It's gonna be rear-wheel drive because it's a muscle car. And we're gonna give this thing a good old crossplane V8. Aluminium modern OHV. It's not gonna be in the same class as, say, a Charger Hellcat. It is probably more around the is probably gonna be more around the output of, say, a Camaro SS, which I think is about 500 horsepower, maybe a little bit less. But in any case, we're gonna make this thing a 6.5 liter and try and achieve about, you know, somewhere between 480 and 500 horsepower if we can. If we can't, then we're gonna up to 7 liters. So I want to have a pretty flat torque curve and not that much of a max RPM limit. I might also consider turbocharging this engine, but since it's a Camaro SS rival, not a ZL1 kind of car, I don't think I can justify turbocharging it or giving it throttle per cylinder configuration, or, you know, going crazy on fuel mixture or anything like that. Let's give it a 100 ignition timing, long tubular exhausts, and this should be enough if we play our cards right. 450 is not enough yet. Can also increase the red line a little bit. 6300, 6400, yeah. And go a little bit higher on the cam profile. 457, 463, 463, 470. And actually, hold on, I'm gonna look up how many horsepower the current Camaro SS makes. I'll be back in a second. Alrighty, so I was wrong. Apparently the Camaro SS only, well, quote unquote only, makes 400 horsepower. So we are a little bit above that. But anyway, I don't think that's a bad thing. We could be rivaling, like, actually a Mustang GT makes 419 horsepower. A Challenger RT or SRT8 makes about 460 or so, I think. Definitely, well, the Hellcat is obviously at 707, but you know, this is a mid-range muscle car, like not the top, not at the very top, but you get the idea. Since I pointed this out in a couple of videos already, but the automatic gearboxes in this game are so slow that I'm gonna choose to go for a double clutch system here with 8 speeds. And the reason is, well, not only that the automatics are so slow, but also that in most modern muscle cars you can have the option of shifting with pedals anyway, even though it is an automatic. It's like also a system that Jaguar uses, and that used to be in the Aston Martin DB9, or it definitely has been refined since then, but maybe it is actually a legitimate double clutch now in the Aston Martin. But anyway, it's an automatic with pedal shifters, basically, is what I'm trying to make here. And we're gonna space this out about like this, so that we reach 100 kilometers an hour in second gear. 8 speeds is totally fine, because this is pretty much the standard these days for automatic gearboxes. 7 speeds died pretty quickly. So this should be 275s, and then we're gonna add like 305s to the rear end. Yeah, for now they should be fine. And obviously bigger rims, like 18s, 19s. Can we go with it? Oh my god, how big are the tires that you can fit in here? Holy cow. In terms of wheel diameter, that is. Yes, so we obviously want some different rims, like these maybe. Alloy wheels. Vented discs. We don't need that big of a brake set. Then about 315, I think, in the rear end. On the rear axle. I don't know what I was thinking there. Fully clad on the tray. We do have a lip up front and one on the rear, so let's go for about 70 up front and then like 5 on the rear end. Very low cooling requirement. A little bit of quality, because the drag coefficient of this body shell is not corresponding well to the actual drag coefficient of the cars that use this body shell in real life, like the Ford Mustang and the Chevy Camaro. I know they don't use the same platform, but you get the idea, I hope. So 5 seats, standard interior and infotainment. Yeah, launch control as well, because it is a paddle shift gearbox. And then some standard safety. Actually, let's go for advanced, because it might give us a little bit more weight over the rear axle to improve traction off the line. Adaptive and then active here. We're gonna go for a... It's just gonna lower the ride height here. And we get a 1.7 ton car with 56.3 drivability and 50.9 sportiness. That's pretty damn good. The reliability is also very solid. The total costs are pretty much what you'd expect. And 4.5 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour is definitely reasonable for a car in this category. Actually, you know what? Let's change the engine a little bit, because I said in the previous episode even, I think, that most AMW cars have 5 watts per cylinder anyway, so we can definitely decrease the size of this thing here. 6.3 liter. Let's go for a 6 liter. And we're still making more power. we're also gonna decrease. Yeah, that seems fine. 6800 RPM. Yeah, 6800 RPM. There we go. 476 horsepower, 611 newton meters. Yeah, that's good. And then increase the conversion so that we use our run to the max efficiency. So 480 horsepower. Wait. Actually, I like this one better. As far as power curves go. 480 horsepower, 616 newton meters. More weight, obviously, but also more drivability, sportiness, and comfort and safety because of the added weight. Slower acceleration time, but that has to do with the gearing. Or with the fact that it now has more wheel spin because there's more power. 315s, yeah, there we go. You can still do massive burnouts with this car, like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about that at all. Even with the 315s on the rear end. So what does it do on the quarter mile? $12.15 seconds. It's actually quite fast, I think, for a car in this category at least. And yeah, 330 kilometers an hour is faster than the Hellcat. That's 205 miles an hour. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, please click the like button, it helps out a great deal. Subscribe if you want to see more in the future, but for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.